Hey guys, what's up? My name is Zach Bowman. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about Bitcoin and really just what I look at on a daily basis when I am trying to invest my money into something that I think is going to perform very well into the future. As we can see, Bitcoin is above $70,000 today. We had a pretty serious drop off in October from $126,000 to about 60-ish when we were out snowboarding in Breckenridge. That was a little spicy, I will say. But long term, we can see that Bitcoin has grown significantly since its inception. When we look at the power law, everyone always says Bitcoin's volatile, but in reality, it functions on the power law. If you're not familiar with that, I recommend you Google it and check it out. There's a lot of experts that can give you some direct information as to why it's important, what it is in society, and how it really functions across animals, cities, all kinds of things. The power law is everywhere. So when we look at the power law, we can see that Bitcoin's functioning within its support and resistance lines. It's a little bit below its linear regression fit right now, but guys, settle down. Don't get spun up. Don't listen to the FUD. Everything's going to be okay. When we look at the Bitcoin rainbow chart, we can see that we're in the lower buying levels, not financial advice. As we approach these red values, Bitcoin's going to be at very high values. But it's not about it's about long-term conviction. It's about opting out of the dollar. It's about opting out of fiat. We've lost over 80% of our purchasing power in the dollar since we got off the gold standard, and even before that. Groceries are more expensive, houses are more expensive, cars are more expensive. I want to invest my money into assets that I think are going to appreciate over the coming decades. When we look at the Bitcoin halving spiral chart, we can see that the snake has never eaten itself. And I mention that again and again. If you've ever played the game Snake, if the snake eats itself, the game is over. Bitcoin has grown exponentially since its inception. Every 4 years, it bumps up a log. And we can see right now at the price of $70,000, we're still well above the last halving cycle year where it was $44,000. The thing that I find most interesting is how many addresses of Bitcoin there are. And I'm going to go through this just because I think it's a good example of how many people own Bitcoin, but you're going to be shocked as we get to the profit section with how many people actually are in profit holding Bitcoin. So balances with greater than 0.01 Bitcoin, over 12 million. Balances with a balance of over 0.1, we got over 4 million. And again, there's 60 million millionaires. So if we look at how many people can own 21 Bitcoin, it's 21 million. Less than 1 million people own 1 Bitcoin. So there's 3 times the amount of millionaires per Bitcoin. Addresses with balance of greater than 10, we have 150K. Addresses with a balance greater than 100. Less than 20,000 entities or addresses. More than 1,000, we have about 2,000 addresses. And then addresses with a balance of greater than 10,000, we have 88 addresses. And the biggest kicker, I think, is 3 out of 4 people that hold Bitcoin are in profit. 75.82% of addresses are in profit today. So when you look at having conviction, this is a long-term play. Don't get upset when the price drops or when the price rips. Have patience. You have a lot of time to figure it out. You have a lot of time to make a lot of money. And I think Bitcoin and all these public treasury companies that are buying Bitcoin are leading the forefront on the new financial age. Public companies own over 1 million Bitcoin. When we look at the halving countdown, we're still about 770 days out from the next halving. But when we look at it, the halvings are going to continue all the way until 2140, when the last Bitcoin is issued per block. You think one Bitcoin might not be a lot. You think you think 0.1 Bitcoin might not be a lot. You think 0.01 Bitcoin might not be a lot, etc., etc. As we go down to 2100, having some Bitcoin might be an incredible play. The thing that I like doing at night instead of watching Netflix is looking at Bitcoin retirement calculators. Unchained has a really good one. And I like doing this as opposed to 401ks or IRAs because they, are only growing so much. The S&P 500 grew about 13% the past year or two. Bitcoin has a CAGR of 45% right now. So we're just going to use some hypothetical numbers. Say we're 32, like myself. We don't know how long we're going to live, but we put 90. Say you hypothetically have $10,000 worth of Bitcoin right now, and you buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin every year. So instead of doing your 401k, or you can do your 401k and Bitcoin, or you can have multiple strategies, we're putting $10,000 worth of Bitcoin into our portfolio every year. If Bitcoin grows at a mere 17%, which is very low compared to its 45% CAGR that it's seen over the past 5 years, if we look at expected expenses, just say you need $60,000 a year to live. We got a long-term capital gains tax at 20% and inflation rate of 3%. By age 65, you are going to have $15 million. When you die, $725 million. So I really think it's important to just have some patience, have some conviction. We're going to get into some specifics about why I like Bitcoin. And the biggest thing is it requires conviction. Bitcoin is a volatile in the short term. That volatility discourages weak hands and rewards long-term conviction. As holding Bitcoin periods increase, the probability of losing money historically collapses towards zero. And if we look in this chart right now, we can see that one day you might lose some money. 1 week, you're definitely probably going to lose some money. 1 month in, you might lose some money. 1 quarter in, you might lose some money. 1 year in, you might lose some money. Once we get towards this 3, 5, and 10-year 10-year cycle timeline, you can see that your risk of losing money is about 0.0%. Some really good graphics that I like showing people is look at the purchasing power of the dollar today. We have been getting crushed by inflation. Bitcoin changes that because the fiat banking system versus Bitcoin eliminates the intermediary to send cash. In the current fiat system, a sender has to go through a bank, central bank, or government to issue currency or transact with the receiver. Bitcoin is peer-to-peer. It takes out that middleman. Industry disruption over time. I talk about this all the time. This is how you make money. This is how you make incredible gains. Nobody thought Blockbuster was going to get disrupted, and then Redbox came along, and then Netflix came along, and now all we have is streaming services over and over on different platforms. Hotels were disrupted by Airbnb. Taxis disrupted by Uber. Cash, credit card, Venmo. Bitcoin is close to the 1999 aspect of internet adoption. Rainbow chart, we went over that. Halving cycle, spiral chart, we went over that. Bitcoin retirement calculators, guys, you're going to make some money if you put money in. If you're a company and you put in $1 million and buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin every year, over a 37-year period, you are going to have a ton of money. Hypothetically, not financial advice. I don't know what the future is going to hold. We are in so much debt right now, it is astronomically scary and baffling. How do we get out of this? If we look at Bitcoin in traditional assets, we can see that, over the past 14 years, the return in ROI on Bitcoin has been substantially greater than gold and the S&P 500. Compare that to the CAGR, we can see that the CAGR, like I said, is about 45%. Lastly, we'll break it off with this. Look at this price growth. $0 to $126,000 to $70,000 today. Take, all this information with a grain of salt. I'm not a financial advisor. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just like making these videos because it's a timestamp in time similar to what Bitcoin is timestamp wise for YouTube and just growing my own ability to talk to the camera, public speaking, and just taking a risk. So I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon.